started. We have about 75 people on the call, and people are still joining, but we have a lot of great presentations, and we want to make sure that we have time for everything that's planned. My name is Elisa Velardo. I'm Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Developmental Services, and it's my great joy to host these monthly forums that have been taking place since July of last year. So each month on the fourth Tuesday of the month from 3 to 4:30, we have a variety of presentations on service options that are available. And the lineup each month is pretty similar. We have some of our DDS team members that can speak to the topic. We have some members of our provider community that can talk about that service and how they support people in that service option. But the highlight month after month is individuals and families talking about their experience utilizing that service option. We've heard some amazing success stories. We hear from family members who have provided their loved ones with support as they try a new option, and it's been helpful. It's been a great conversation, and our goal is just to make sure that people are aware of what options are out there and available. I do want to let you know that today's session will be recorded. All of the sessions each month are recorded, and for people who are not able to attend, the recording will be posted on our website. If you go to the cover page, you'll see on the drop down Fourth Tuesday Forums. If you click on that, you will see recordings from all of the forums that have taken place since July of 2022. And I highly encourage you to take some time, if there's a service option that you're interested in, to link on those recordings. We've had some amazing presentations. Today is no exception. We have a number of presenters that are joining us here today. I know Commissioner Sheff had been hoping he could join us, and I see he was able to. So before we get started with our program, I would like to introduce Commissioner Jordan Sheff and have him say a few words. Welcome.
Thank you, Elisa, and it's my pleasure to be here. I haven't yet had the opportunity to attend one live and in person, although I viewed some that have been posted. So I'm excited to see how they flow, and I'm not going to take up much time. It's exciting to hear the sharing and the successes and some of the new opportunities that are out there, and I'm just looking to see what I can learn today sitting in with you all. So thank you for attending, and Elisa, thank you for hosting these, and I look forward to sticking around as long as I can.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And we just hit the 100 mark in attendance as you were speaking. So great attendance today. So our topic today is employment transformation. And we'll talk a little bit about ARPA and some of the work that's going on there. But really our agenda today is around featuring different options that are available to people who are interested in employment. And so I'm going to turn it over to Amber Carter and Derrell Spears that'll give us a little overview, set the tone, and then we just have an amazing lineup of presenters today. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Amber and Derrell.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner Velardo, and as well, greeting to you, Commissioner Sheff, and greetings to each and every one of you who have taken time out of your day to join us today, as we have some pretty exciting information to share with you and some very special guests also who will be sharing that information. For starters, my name is Amber Carter, and I am the Director of Employment and Day Services here at DDS. I have with me my very awesome, phenomenal team. We're small but mighty. I have Brian Gresco, who is an employment transition advisor. He hails out of the South region. I have Derrell Spears, who hails out of the West region, and Trever Rogers, who is in central office. Many of you may have seen their names or have interacted with them in various different capacities. And today we just want to just highlight some great opportunities around employment and the innovative ways the department is engaging and sharing and creating pathways around employment. Back in 2011, DDS became an employment first agency. And in our efforts to support that initiative, the Employment First Initiative, they established in 2018 the actually the Employment and Day Services Unit, and I joined that unit in 2018. And ever since then, the department has been thinking of ways and creative manners and innovative manners to go about increasing opportunities for employment. As an employment first agency, that is what we strive to do, to create various pathways to encourage the individuals that we support to reach their goals, whatever their goals may be, whether it's through working in your traditional employment settings, whether it's being through entrepreneurial endeavors, whether it's being through training. We are looking at, in the Employment and Day Services unit here at DDS, thinking of various different ways to help those that we support become all that they want to be and to do whatever it is they desire in competitive integrated employment, and looking at training options and services that will support them in doing so. So with that being said, I want to take this opportunity now, and as I mentioned earlier, Derrell Spears will be giving a little bit more information around DDS and some of our employment services, and from there, in our employment options that we have, and to speak a little bit about today's overview. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time getting into the actual specifics around what the service definitions are and things of that nature. We really want to take this opportunity just to allow you to hear from some of those that are on the call today who will speak about the various different services and how they have helped them to either obtain customized employment, or whether help them to be in a transition program such as Project Search, or whether it's been through going through various different paths to get their own competitive integrated employment. So today we have some very special guests. I'm going to turn it over to Derrell, who will then go ahead and introduce some of our, who will introduce the other members of our unit, and who will walk you through the different, various different opportunities that we have, whether it be customized employment, Project Search. And so I'll turn it over to Derrell now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amber. Again, I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone who has showed up to participate today. We are the Employment and Day Services Unit. Again, my name is Derrell Spears Jr. I am out of the West region. I am a transition advisor. And like Amber said, we don't want to belabor you too much today with the specifics of our unit. We do have some things that we want to highlight that are going on in the unit. So I will begin the presentation. So again, we are the Employment and Day Services Unit. We are part of the Department of Developmental Services, which mission is to support lifelong planning and to join with others to create and promote meaningful opportunities. As Amber had mentioned, the Employment and Day Division was created around 2018 to oversee the employment and day options that are provided by our department, DDS. The division does work with individuals and families, providers, community partners, other stakeholders, businesses, to help prepare individuals for competitive employment and to hopefully match them with jobs that meet their interests, their skills, and their abilities. The Employment and Day Services Unit currently offers a variety of day and employment services to individuals across the state of Connecticut, in which you can learn more about either at our website, or please feel free to use the contact information that is on the screen to contact us if you have some inquiries or questions as it relates to our services. So that's a small introduction for everyone. I am going to for this part of the presentation to my colleague, Brian Gresco, and we are going to talk about some of the highlights of the Employment Day Services Unit that we have going on.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Again, my name is Brian Gresco with the DDS Employment Day Services Division. I'm also the statewide coordinator for Project Search. We're going to spend some time share some information about Project Search, what it is, who it's for, and what it looks like in Connecticut today. We also have a real treat as we have special guests from the MARC Community Resources Project Search Program, Program Manager Dimitar Tashkovski and intern Nicholas Gibertoni, who will be able to share some really good firsthand experiences that they've had with the program. Next slide. Okay, so let's get started. Project Search programs are internship-driven programs that typically mirror school years, starting in either late August or early September, and running 9 months until May. This is because the model has been geared towards transition-aged individuals aged 18 to 21. However, in Connecticut, Project Search is greatly supported by DDS, and most Project Search programs serve the post-grad population as well. Project Search programs are supported by a provider agency, but operate entirely within a host business. Host businesses are generally larger businesses that have a large number of staff, many different departments that can be used for internship opportunities, and they also have the space and infrastructure to support the program. The participants are acknowledged as interns and are fully immersed in the department where the internship is being done. Provider agencies support staff with complete curriculum and group discussions daily at the beginning of each day, and are available to support staff as needed. But the interns spend their day with their colleagues in their internships. The focus of the program is building work-related skills that can be applied to find competitive integrated employment. Next slide. So during the intern's 9-month run through Project Search, they will each complete 3 separate 10-week internship rotations. This will give the interns the opportunity to explore different work experience options, develop a breadth of skills, while also discovering or building interests in certain fields. The idea is for each intern to have their own internship rotation. So multiple interns are not going to be at any given department at any given time. Next slide. And it's important to note that interns are not just sent out into these internship rotations without any support. In fact, the first few weeks of the program are spent onboarding the individual into Project Search, but also into the host business. Many host businesses offer orientation components to the interns that mirror what is provided their own new hires, their own typical new hires. Next. And here's just a visual of a typical Project Search year as it looks. You can see the beginning date in August, September, some time for orientation, the 3 10-week internship rotations, and finally graduation. Next. While not out in their internships, the supporting providers agency staff will work on skill development that could be used to help find and maintain competitive integrated employment. You can take a look at some of these things that they're working on: team building, workplace safety, technology, all those things. You can see the whole list. Next. Just again, the goal of Project Search is competitive employment. The program does this by assisting with skills assessment and job development strategies. While it's not uncommon that host sites decide to hire Project Search interns, it's not an expectation either. So Project Search will work with interns to also find employment with outside providers, as well as develop the individual's ability to make use of natural support systems. And next. And here's a schedule of what a typical day at Project Search looks like. You can see that aside from the classroom time at the beginning and the end of the day, the interns are fully immersed in their departments. This includes breaks and lunch. Something that people always ask is, what about transportation? Transportation is not included in the Project Search model. However, transportation education is. If you feel like Project Search might be a good fit for you or a loved one, but are concerned about transportation, we suggest you reach out to that provider agency you are considering and have a discussion. And next. So this is, I always love numbers, so this is a fun slide for me. But Project Search has very solid employment outcome numbers, totaling over 700 programs across the U.S. and internationally. They have consistently held post-graduation employment rates of over 75%. Outcomes in Connecticut have been even better. Over the last 5 years, Connecticut Project Search programs have yielded a combined 89% graduation rate and a 79.8 employment rate. Graduating interns averaged over 20 hours of work per week at an average of $13.97 per hour. And next. People often ask how Project Search is funded. In Connecticut, we do have Project Search programs that serve school-aged individuals. These programs either exclusively work with that population or is a hybrid program that also serves graduated adults. So school districts are a funding possibility for Project Search. Connecticut Project Search is also funded by DDS. So most Project Search programs serve the adult IDP population. If you're interested in pursuing Project Search, please reach out to your support team to discuss this as an option for you. Finally, while this is probably the least common of funding options for Project Search, there are instances where individuals have chosen private pay. That would be something that you would work out with the provider agency. And next. So this is just all the list of the Project Search programs currently in Connecticut. MARC of Manchester has programs at both Goodwin College and Hartford Hospital, Ability Beyond, Norwalk Community College and New Vance Hospital, Ableist, Greenwich Hospital and Darien YMCA, Litchfield ARC, Charlotte Hungerford Hospital, MARC Community Resources, they have a Middlesex Hospital. On hiatus, we have the Mohegan Sun program, which we're hoping to get back on board as soon as possible. The next slide is a map of it just shows a current Project Search programs across Connecticut. The yellow marks towns with Project Search presence, with blue indicating where new programs will be starting. And next. And as I mentioned, there were new programs on their way coming in. Those blue highlighted sections include for the 2023-24 year, Danbury Hospital, which will be through Ability Beyond, Ableist, Stanford Hospital, Kennedy Collective, Stratford YMCA, CCARC, the Hospital Central Connecticut. There are other programs that are going to be are on the horizon as well, so keep posted with that. But Project Search is definitely growing in Connecticut. And that is the end of my spiel. I'm happy to now turn things over to the main show, which would be Dimitar and Nicholas from MARC Community Resources.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. My name is Dimitar Tashkovski. I'm the Project Search Manager and instructor. This next to me is Nicholas Gibertoni. He is one of our 7 interns. And I also have next to me Olivia Lespierre, and she is our Project Search coordinator and skills trainer. She's not on the camera right now. But yeah, Project Search, it have been a really great experience for us so far. It taught us a lot, the whole team, not just us as employees, the interns, the families, the case managers. It taught us a lot for what our interns can do and what they're capable of doing if they're given the opportunity. The National Project Search team is really amazing. They're always easy to reach and they're very helpful. They have created the member portal with all the curriculum and all the material that a Project Search site would ever need is there. So they're really amazing for that kind of stuff. Our site is at Middlesex Health Hospital. It's the best host business we could ask for. They're very invested and very involved in what we do and what our program is aiming for. They provided us with amazing classroom. We have computers for each of our interns. They have their own emails, and they're really just part of their part of their community, part of what the hospital is striving for. They also provided us with they matched us with a volunteer that have 20 plus years of experience. She's retired now, but a special ed teacher, and she comes and help us out with some ideas, with some skills that she have for how to best serve our interns. A day for us, as Brian said, a day for us, it's it's pretty busy schedule. We come over here in the classroom, within the classroom at between 8 and 8:30. We start the day with a quick meeting for what's the expectation for today, some reminders for what we need to work on, what we need to focus on, some skills and some tasks at the hospital. And at 9 o'clock, the interns meet with their mentors, and their mentors are employees from the hospital that are assigned from them, and they teach them the job itself. They're there until 1:30. They have their lunch with them, and we highly encourage them to have the lunch with them at the job. They all have lunch at different times. It's a hospital, so we can't all eat at the same time. And yes, it's really amazing so far. The hospital also provide us with internship departments. We have between 10 and 11 internships available to us right now. Our interns are gaining experience that it's learning and not working. We don't want our interns just to be that employees that are filling up a position that there's no employee that wants to do. So we have our interns to work with them. We want our interns to learn the job for after project search, like if they would be employed. We don't want our interns to for example, to put stickers on or barcodes on some product in the mailroom. So, and this is why it's really important for a host business to understand the program well, so that our interns are not used for tasks like that they're not really meaningful and they don't really lead to learning skills. It's a great opportunity to explore careers. They're learning transferable skills, as I said, and the goal is independent employment and eventually to move to ISE and even on a longer term for independent living and just to learn how to be independent in general. So I will turn over the microphone, I will give the floor to one of our interns, Nicolas Gibertoni, and he will tell you guys how he sees project search from his point of view.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolas Gibertoni. To me, project search means working at a new place with new opportunities. I wanted to be part of project search because I wanted to experience new opportunities within a new place. These are some of the internship departments available to us: clinical engineering, patient transport, materials management, physical rehab, food and nutrition, EVS, environmental services, respiratory and CCU, and linen. For my first rotation, I was in patient transporting, moving patients in beds, stretchers, and wheelchairs anywhere that the patient was needed, like in CT scan or X-ray. I would even help discharge patients when it was time for them to leave the hospital. For my second rotation, I was doing CCU and respiratory, I would restock the cabinets or closets with clean linen and slings for the beds when needed. I would also help with anything they would need in the CCU. Also for respiratory, I would check on the oxygen tanks on the different floors to see if they were partial or full or empty. If they were empty, I would collect them at the end of my rounds from each floor that had an empty tank, and I would come around with a cart for the empty oxygen tank and take it to our soiled utility room on second floor. For third rotation, I am back in patient transporting. I am collecting the IV pumps when I go on pump rounds and also collecting food pumps when I go on the rounds. I do floors ground through 7th floor, and on floors 4, 5, and 6, I do south and north. I learned how to independently use public transportation. For public transportation, I use M7, and that is a taxi service for special education people, and you can book it on your own. You can cancel a ride right from your phone, or call and see how far your ride is. I get picked up every day at my house and get brought to the hospital. I feel more responsible and confident since I started this program. I created professional connections with the hospital employees, including the CEO, some vice presidents, doctors, and other employees. My goal after Project Search is to have a full-time job and live on my own.
That's all about we got from our side. It's our first year, and so far it's going amazing. We couldn't ask for a better experience. From me personally, as employee that is doing a Project Search program, and the interns can speak the same.
Thank you, guys. This is Brian again. I completely floored by Nicholas's his depiction of Project Search and how far he's come. Everyone I've talked to about him just raves about the progress he's made in the few months he's been at Project Search. Tons to be proud of. A really good program too at Middlesex Hospital. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing. Keep it up. And Nicholas, I'm looking forward to see where you land up with your employment. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Commissioner Velardo, did you have a question? I saw your hand raised. This is Amber.
I did not have a question. I was clapping. I was trying to clap my hands because I thought that was such a fantastic presentation. And I've had the huge benefit of being able to attend, I think 3 or 4 project search graduations. I think 3 in person and maybe 1 virtually at one point. But it's so great to hear Nicholas's experience, and so I was playing with my reaction buttons and trying to applaud. Thank you so much.
And thank you guys for having us to speak about our experience. It really is nothing but amazing.
All right, we'll turn it over to our next presenters. Trever Rogers.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Trever Rogers, and I'm going to be presenting on customized employment services, and then I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues at Independent Living Solutions, who are one of our customized employment providers. Next slide. So customized employment is an alternative method of finding competitive integrated employment that focuses on the skills, abilities, and likes of an individual with disabilities and the unmet needs of employers. It's highly structured, person-centered, and carried out over time in 3 separate phases, and it serves as a separate service model with more intensive and creative, specifically modified supports to help the individual achieve their self-directed employment goal. And the service is completely job seeker driven, and an individual, who we often refer to as the job seeker in customized employment, completes customized employment once they've been successfully placed in a competitive integrated employment position. And at that time, they can transition to natural supports or an individualized supported employment ISE placement. And I do want to mention that customized employment in Connecticut is an interagency service. So it's a joint effort by DDS, the Department of Aging and Disability Services Bureau of Rehabilitation Services, ADS BRS, and the State Department of Education. And next slide. So the customized employment process is meant to be carried out over time. And the employment service approach is very comprehensive and designed to ensure that job seekers are the primary driver of the outcome that they obtain. It's a time-limited service that does not affect an individual's annual budget, and individuals continue their current community activities while they're engaging in the customized employment process. So when the job seeker becomes employed and finishes customized employment, they can still continue their desired community services while they're not working. It looks different for every job seeker, and it may mean engaging in customized employment for 2 days a week and continuing one's current service the remaining days over a period of a few months. When the individual has finished customized employment, they will replace those days with that they were participating in customized employment with their employment position. Now I'm gonna quickly show you a different calendar. So like I said, customized employment is meant to be specific to the individual. So it does not necessarily mean that the individual will be doing exactly what the calendar says. It looks different for every job seeker. It's truly customized. And some individuals may want CE for more than 2 days a week with the desired outcome of being employed more than 2 days a week. But I'm going to flip back to the calendar again, because like I said, this 3-day option, 2 days, it is solely dependent on the individual, their needs and their goals. It's completely modified to ensure that the needs of the individual job seeker are met, and the intent is to allow customized employment services to be blended with other services so that individuals can still engage in their current community activities while they're in CE, and then continue to do it when they're done with customized employment. And next slide. So the first phase of customized employment is job discovery, which is when the customized employment certified staff member spends time with the job seeker, his or her family and friends, their extended family, and in the community to get to know the individual and gain a more in-depth understanding of the job seeker's likes, interests, dislikes, their knowledge, strengths, skills, and abilities. The focus of job discovery, however, is not to find a job. It's only to engage with the job seeker and his or her extended support system to identify up to 3 areas of interest in which employment might be explored within the community that that job seeker has access to. And discovery activities may include, but are not limited to, observations of the job seeker at home, interviewing family members, friends, and other significant individuals in the job seeker's life, as well as engagement with the job seeker in community-based or family activities. And 3 different topics that are explored throughout this process will be the job seeker's benefit status, their ability to access transportation, and then known as well as potential worksite supports that are needed. And information that's compiled within this phase of the customized employment process will be put into a discovery report, which will then be used to create a visual resume to take when they're going to jobs, as well as a customized employment plan that's going to guide the remainder of the customized employment process. And next slide. The second phase is job development, negotiation, and placement, and this is where the implementation of the customized employment plan occurs. So job development is pursued based on the approach and the essential features of employment that are agreed upon by the job seeker and their service delivery team in the CE plan. During this phase of service, the customized employment certified staff member and the job seeker are going to approach employers and businesses that they identify in the CE plan together. And a list of job tasks that fit the job seeker and has already been developed so that when they're going to different employers, they can offer the potential employers and discuss the unmet needs of the business that might match the job seeker's strengths and interests. And potential supports needs for the employment placement will also be identified in advance, and they're going to be revised for each specific workplace to account for the unique characteristics when they're negotiating a customized position. And next slide. The last phase of customized employment is post-employment supports, which refers to the on-the-job supports and services that might be necessary to support the job seeker during the initial training and stabilization of their placement. Extended supports are, if necessary, will be individuals can transition to an individual supported employment placement, and this will allow them, once they become employed, to access supports and services that might be needed as necessary by an employment specialist who can provide training and support as needed by the job seeker to assist them in their position and the retention stabilization of their position. And I do just want to mention that as of March 2023, there are approximately 30 provider organizations in the state who are qualified to provide customized employment services with about 66 certified staff members. And I want to note that the ADS GDS Customized Employment Project team is continually offering more certification courses so that we can expand capacity for customized employment services. But every once in a while, there are some capacity limitations for the service, and individuals may have to wait for a provider with capacity to provide the supports after they've been recommended for customized employment. But as I said, every single week, the capacity that we have is increasing, and we're having more staff be certified. And then next slide. So what's the goal of customized employment? The goal is to find an individual a competitive integrated employment position that best fits their needs and their interests. And in most cases, a customized employment position did not exist beforehand. The job seeker and their customized employment staff member work with employers to create a customized position that fits the unmet needs of the employer and the like skills, interests, and abilities of the individual. The certified customized employment staff member will utilize job carving to create specifically modified position for the individual that pieces together duties from other positions and the unmet needs of the employer that might not already be duties assigned to a position within the organization. And the certified staff member will work with the individual, employer, and the individual's natural supports to identify and implement potential modifications and accommodations that might be necessary. And customized employment seeks to find competitive integrated employment, any competitive integrated employment opportunity that works best for the job seeker, meaning it might be full-time or part-time, as well as entrepreneurship or self-employment options. And then next slide. So finally, who is customized employment for? Customized employment is a good strategy for those who need more intensive supports than our typical individualized or group models, and who may need to utilize more intensive discovery strategies for career and job direction. Customized employment is effective for individuals with complexities that make it difficult to utilize traditional job search strategies. If an individual meets those requirements, case managers should consider whether the individual has explored the various ADS and DDS employment service options and the individual's past employment experience. It's very important to note, however, that there is no specific path to customized employment. and rather it serves as a service option that should be explored after an individual has tried other employment services and it's determined that more individualized supports are needed to achieve competitive integrated employment. And next slide. And I am now going to introduce Cara Pfeifer and Michael Gaynor. They are both from Independent Living Solutions, and they are one of our customized employment services providers. Thank you both for being here today. And Derrell, we can go to the next slide.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the detail on customized employment. My name is Cara Pfeifer. I'm the program manager at Independent Living Solutions. We have been a provider for the past 10 years. Independent Living Solutions has been around since 2005. We have been providing services under the ABI waiver program and worked closely with the DDS since 2005. However, our vocational services program, we became a community rehabilitation provider in 2014 for BRS ADS, as they're now called. And I have been with the agency for close to 10 years, providing those services. Our head office is in Waterbury, Connecticut. And when I first started, it was just me and a job coach providing services in the Danbury and Waterbury areas in Connecticut. We grew the program slowly, and now we are a strong team of 30 plus employees, and we're providing services all over Connecticut. My background has been in recruitment, so when I joined ILS, I just figured that the recruitment model was the best way to provide successful services to our client. And with that said, I figured that we really needed to get to know the client and understand what their strengths and passions and interests were, and try to marry that with a position that existed or one that we could kind of create to some kind of extent in order to succeed and have longevity in our placements and make sure it was something that the client wanted to do, the employer was happy with, and really mesh the fit of the client to the employer needs. We're kind of excited now that the CE customized employment, we are one of the providers that has been selected, and we have 5 people on our team that are CE certified, and that finally the strategies that we've been using for years and years and how far we've gone to find just right fit for our clients is finally being recognized. So as I said, I think delving into the discovery process and the passions and interests and really getting to know the client is really what makes a successful outcome. Next slide, please. So over the years, we really build strong relationships with employers. We figure that's just as important as our client base. So again, that's probably more based along a recruitment style of model. So we work closely with employers, and we've built relationships actually nationally and specifically in Connecticut, and we lever off those relationships that we have with our employers to be able to really make inroads and that long-term success for clients, which is what we've been after. And that makes the world of a difference. So 2 particular cases that I'd like to share. Obviously, I'm not going to share personal information, but I remember meeting a young man years ago, and one of my favorite questions is always, if I could wave my wand, what would you like to do? You know, and it could be anything crazy. I want to hear it. Driving a train, working in the water, whatever it is. I really want to get to know you and understand what it is that makes you tick and what it is you love to do in your free time. And if I can match that somehow into an employment goal, then success follows. Obviously, there's a lot of support along the way, but that was my theory. So with that said, this young man said to me, I love the water. I love to be in the water. I love everything about the water. You know, I play in it. I like to stand in it. I like to swim in it. And I'm like, Okay. I figured the client probably wasn't going to be the best lifeguard or pool monitor. That was a lot of responsibility. So we started working together and we came up with a position that was local in Danbury for an underwater construction team member. So I reached out to the employer and together we came up with what we thought might be a good match. We did a trial and he was there for 6 years. So he worked in underwater lake remediation. They built waterways for golf courses and residential development sites and corporate. He ended up getting his scuba certification, and he's an integral team member on that underwater construction team. So I guess that highlights, at least in my mind, of what you can do when you think outside the box and what can be achieved by marrying crazy interests and passions. Another client, and this was one of my first that I ever placed, and she's still there today. So we're looking at 9.5 years. When I asked her what she would love to do if I could wave my wand and make anything happen, she told me that she wants to run. She wants to just be on the move, never sit still, constantly doing, constantly moving. And that would make her happy. She also needed a site that was in walking distance to her house. And she was fascinated by working in kind of that medical type facility. So we reviewed and researched and spent a lot of time together and a lot of countless hours. And we finally found a position in Danbury Hospital. And it mentioned, I believe it was called food service worker at the time. But as we delved further into it, we realized it was actually a running position between the floors. So they had cafes and bistros and the kitchen, which were all on different levels of the hospital. And they needed somebody to be able to run product, anything they might have been lacking, pizzas, pizza boxes, filling up the soda machines, the vending machines, needing another lettuce in the cafe down on floor 2. And she spends her time running between the floors. It's a perfect match. She's still there today. We're still in touch with her all the time. She's been able to uptrain into some other positions. They absolutely adore her. She fills a role that was very much needed. And after almost 9.5 years, almost 10 years, we believe, again, it was another perfect match and great placement. So with that said, we are super excited about the advent of customized employment. We think it's going to be perfect for so many of our clients. And finally, we'll be able to delve and be rewarded to spend so much time in getting to know our clients. Our number 1 CE certified team member is Michael Gaynor, and him and I have worked together for the past few years. He is fabulous. He gets it on way more levels than you could ever imagine, and I'm proud to introduce Mike Gaynor to share some of his experiences next. Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Gaynor, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to be part of this today. I come not only as a professional. I've been at ILS for 4 years. Prior to that, I was at Easter Seals in Waterbury for almost 25 years. And so I not only come as a professional, but I also come as a dad. I have 3 disabled young adults. One of them is receiving DDS services. And so this is all very personal, excuse me, very personal to me. So when I have an opportunity to have a client come our way on our roster, I take it to heart, because I want the best for that client to succeed. So when Kara reached out to me probably about a half a year or so ago and said, hey, we're going to consider going with the CE pilot project, which I thought was amazing that so many agencies of dedicated people had come together to put this program together, and that it was going to be client driven. That excited me beyond belief, because oftentimes we get busy in our routines and And sometimes we're not listening to the clients like we should. So here, purposely in CE, customized employment, the client is the driver of the job seeker, is the one that drives the whole process, and that person has a team, hopefully a strong team that will help in that process. But that person drives the process, approves the process, and so it's an amazing opportunity for a lot of our clients, as Kara has said already. So, you know, the part about the job discovery, where you actually spend time getting to know that individual, we've never really, for a lot of reasons, never had a real ample opportunity to do that. And so now we get to do that. We get to really delve into what makes that person the person that they are. You know, what's their strengths, what's their challenges, what do they like, what do they dislike? So many aspects of what makes up a person, just like you and I, when we go out and do the things that we do. There's so many components of who we are as an individual. So in that job discovery process, we get a chance to really find out all we can about that individual. And then we kind of broaden it out. We go out to the immediate family, to extended family, to people that maybe the client has worked in the past or volunteered in the past, or a church or a synagogue or a religious facility that they attended. You know, we try to reach out to all those different people in the discovery process. And then we create a profile. And that profile lists everything that we can gather in way of data, and we put that together. And then we bring that back to the client, and we say, this is what we have. What do you think? And they have to approve it. They have to say, yeah, I'm on board with that. And that kind of takes us to the next process of you know, the job development and searching for that job that hopefully will be the perfect job for that individual. And then knowing that after all of that, there's supports at the end when that person is eventually placed. That's awesome. So that, to me, again, as a dad, that just excites me, because that's what I hope for my 3 disabled children. And I bring that into the same kind of passion I bring into the work that I do every day. So it's a great opportunity for clients to go into a new position that maybe they haven't had an opportunity to in the past for a variety of reasons. So if you have any questions, Kara and I are here. We can answer those questions, but we really are excited about being part of this program.
Thank you so much, Michael and Cara. I really appreciated all that, especially some of those great stories about some of the individuals you've placed. And I'm now going to turn it over to Brian Gresco, who's going to finish who's going to talk about the Innovative Employment Opportunity Grant.
Hello again, everyone. You know, DDS has really gone all in and embraced creative and non-traditional pathways to employment. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is just the Innovative Employment Opportunity. It's was piloted back in 2019 and brought back last fall. You can go on the next slide. The Innovative Employment Opportunity, or IEO, is designed to support small businesses and entrepreneurs, create pathways to competitive integrated employment for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The most current version of the grant has 2 different options for people to consider. The first is the Exploration Grant, and the second is the Implementation/Expansion Grant. Next. The Exploration Grant provides seed money for business ideas that really need an opportunity to explore and develop a viable business plan. The creation of competitive integrated employment opportunities for people with IDD must be an integral component of the business concept. DDS awards up to $4,000 for this particular grant. Next. This grant is especially good for individuals and families who have an interest in starting their own small business, but really are at the beginning stages of bringing it to life. It may also be a resource for entrepreneurs who have an interest in starting a business centered around employment for people with IDD. And next, yep, the implementation expansion grant. This is built for businesses that are farther along and that they are either about to open or are already up and running and have demonstrated that employment for people with IDD is central to their business. Next. Funds for this grant are significantly larger than the exploration grant and are offered in increments of $10,000, $25,000, and $50,000 and must be shown how they tie directly to increasing employment for folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Next. And so here are some examples of how expansion implementation funds have been used. Marketing and research, consultant fees, securing storefront locations. There have been times where, you know, hey, I'd like to expand the actual size of the business, the storefront, the store, and you know I have to kind of I need funds for that. Procuring of additional equipment. Maybe they need, you know, they run a bakery and they need a bigger stove or things like that, or adaptive technology that they could use into creating pathways for employment more accessible. Next slide. And, you know, in terms of requirements for the IEO, with the last version that we've had, we really require that there's 12 months of quarterly reporting and monitoring, completion of yearly reports for fiscal year 1, 2, and 3. That's really just so that we can track the progress of the businesses as they get up and going. We really want to see how things are after that first year, after that second year, after that third year. And in terms of like quarterly reporting, it's really to help us, again, assess how things are going, strategize, be a support for the businesses as they kind of take their first steps. And then returning of a lot of funds if they're not used in the designated time. So, you know, we get to the point when the funds should be expended and they're not, that there'd be an understanding that the funds would be returned to DDS. And then another critical component of the grant really is that there's an understanding that the awardees would connect with small business supports, things like the SBDC, the Small Business Center, there's a number of other small business support programs throughout the state that a lot of them work for free, pro bono. We have a list of network entities that we're aware of that we could share to help connect people with. And that's really just to make sure that people have been connected with individuals who have expertise in starting up small businesses. So that is just another one of the expectations for the grant. But again, it's a very interesting and exciting opportunity. So if you are interested in starting up a business, if you haven't, you know, you're an individual or, you know, a family member, and you know you've tried other avenues of employment, but you know you've always had an interest in starting your own business, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. We just had our last iteration go out through the fall, but we're hoping to have this as an ongoing basis. So hopefully later this year we'll have something on the books again. But just keep yes. So just keep that on everyone's radar. I think that's all I have on the IEO. And if there's any questions about it specifically, you can always reach out to myself or the Employment Day Services Division, and we could have more conversations with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. Okay, we will be transitioning into another very special part of the agenda today. We have an individual who has taken the time to prepare some responses for us as it pertains to their employment success story. I want to introduce Ryan C., who is a part of the Kennedy Collective, and Ryan will be sharing his experience with us on transitioning from group-supported employment into integrated competitive employment. Ryan, are you there?
Yep.
Amazing. Okay, I'm getting ready to start now. Are you ready?
Yep.
Excellent. So the first question that I want to ask you, Ryan, is to tell us a little bit about your experience in transitioning out of the GSC that you were a part of and going into the employment that you have now.
I lost my group supported job when the pandemic hit in 2020 and didn't know when I was ever going to work again. Then in 2021, the Kennedy Collective offered to put me through a training employment program that would help prepare me to find a job. We watched many videos and had many discussions on how to act, dress, and apply for a job on our own. That was many months of preparation. After a while, we had a team meeting and my parents asked if there was any way I could apply for my previous job at Aurora because I really liked working there. So we as a family set up by the Kennedy Collective went to Aurora Products to meet with the owner and be interviewed by her for a possible job position. We met her and other personnel for about an hour. She chatted with me about what I previously did there, people I worked with, and what my job entailed. Then she interviewed my parents. After the interview, we went for a full tour of the food plant, and the last place we ended up in was the area I would be working. I was reunited with my old department manager and the employees I knew from years back. So the end result, I went with my job coach from the Kennedy Collective for a 40-hour interview doing jobs they gave me to see if I could handle the work task on my own. After the 40-hour interview was completed, we waited for a week or so and finally heard that I did great and was officially being hired by Aurora and started working on November 29th, 2022.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. That is a very specific story as to how you transitioned into your new position. And it sounds like there were some people there who have been alongside you to help you along the way, who also played a role in securing this new position for you. And, you know, I think it's excellent that you were able to do that 40-hour trial to make sure that this was something that was going to work for you. And I know you were very excited when you got the call that you had performed excellently and you were able to obtain the position. So if I may, congratulations to you. Moving on to the, you're very welcome. Moving on to the next question. You don't have to spend too much time. Tell us a little bit about this position that you're in now. Talk to us a little bit about some of the things you do in the position and a couple of the things that you like about the job.
Yes, I am a packer. I help weigh and pack organic foods. I also put boxes together and label food bags. It was the best job I ever had in supported group. want to be employed because I am a hard worker and need money to live off of. I like being a team player and I enjoy the job that I'm doing with my co-workers. I like being a good
I think it may have muted.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner. I did see that it muted. Ryan, if you could hear me,
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Should we say it again?
The very last line, if you don't mind.
Okay. I like being a team player and I enjoy the job that I'm doing with my co-workers. I like being a good worker and a great employee.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Ryan. I just want to make one connection to that and tell you that I too like working with my coworkers and I too like the work that I do. And I think that that makes a difference when you come to a job and you're happy with not only the people that you're working with, but also the work that you're doing. So that's excellent to hear. You've been doing a great job so far and we're almost done, okay? So the very last thing that I'd like you to talk to us about is if you could give any advice to some of your friends that you were with in some of your old programs who are looking to get a job either similar to you or just a job in general so that they too can have money to buy things, what would be something that you would tell those some of those people who are looking to gain employment as you have?
Focus on what you need to learn in the program and apply it to the job position you are seeking. Most importantly, seek a job that you know you are going to love and be good at it. I like to thank all the staff members at the Kennedy Collective, Janine and my parents for encouraging and believing in me, and to Aurora for giving me the chance to prove my capabilities of performing my job.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ryan. That was really, really good advice that you gave to some of your peers or just some people who are looking for employment in general. I think we all could benefit from that advice that you gave us to stay focused, for us to gain and transition into the things that we want and places that we want to go. So thank you very much. Ryan's mom, Donna, I know that you are standing right beside him. I want to send a special thanks to you. You guys were super cooperative and was able to help pull this off at a time that was close to this coming. So I very much appreciate that. This makes a really good segue into the next part of the program for today as it pertains to talking about ARPA and it pertains to talking about helping folks like Ryan who were historically in a GSC setting transition into competitive employment. So again, Ryan, thank you very much. Ms. Donna, thank you as well. Thank you from the EDS team. And I'm going to pass this back to our Deputy Commissioner, Elisa.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you,
Oh,
Derrell.
more than welcome.
And thank you, Ryan, for a great presentation. You've set the stage. All of our presenters have set the stage for what's possible. And we have two additional presenters, a quick opportunity that we want to share, and then we'll talk a little bit about the ARPA Transformation Initiative. So I want to turn it over to Patricia Cimbola, who wanted to share a little bit around an opportunity that's available for people who are interested in using assistive technology to assist in their employment. Patricia, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hello. Can you see me? Hello?
We can
Hello?
see
Can
you.
you see me? Okay, good.
Yep, we can hear
me
and
good?
see.
Okay, excellent. We have an assistive technology, enabling technology notice of opportunity out right now, and it's an ARPA initiative, and it is for self-employment and or to acquire or maintain employment, and it is for qualified providers as well as individuals and families. It can assist individuals and families independently or with the assistance of a qualified provider in finding the right person-centered job or technology-based business opportunity that matches an individual's interests and talents. We're hoping that through the use of technology, we will improve employment access, create job opportunities in traditional employment, and customize self-employment and innovative self-starter businesses. This AT grant request may include hardware, software subscriptions, equipment, and internet connectivity to enhance access to virtual supports. AT work assessments and evaluations may also include employee AT training and environmental modifications, adaptations designed to increase accessibility, safety, and independence. It seems a bit like the grant that they have out now, but it is very assistive technology focused. Some of the different ideas, because technology has advanced so much now, for start of an innovative self-starter businesses is a dog walking self-starter business. Now technology, there are apps that can manage and coordinate bookings, payments, and customer communication. A 3D printing business. 3D printers have become a lot cheaper now, so it allows you to create products and sell them. So that could be a possible business. Also through Etsy, whatever you create, you sell through Etsy. So that is handmade products that you create. So, and Amazon has opened the door to many business opportunities because it has a third party distribution similar to Etsy. And also basically just tools, devices, assistive technology devices that will assist someone in either maintaining their job or help them create a new job. So that's it. It's basically all assistive technology based. Thank you for that opportunity. I am going to put the link to this notice of opportunity in the chat.
I think the link was already put in the chat with
Oh,
the
excellent.
our contact information, your email, so people can reach out if they have more information, if they need more information. But this is a really nice opportunity to either build on employment that's in place and utilize technology in ways that it may be beneficial, or as Patricia said, if you are a budding entrepreneur and are interested in seeking employment, and technology may be beneficial, this is a really nice opportunity. I see in the chats, this is a gem of an opportunity. So thank you for sharing that information. And last, but certainly not least, I want to let you know, if you do have questions or comments, keep putting them in the chat. Most of the comments have been just like, great presentation and a lot of positive kudos for the stories and the information that's been shared. We will try to keep about 5 minutes at the end for any questions. So if you have questions, you can either write them in the chat or ask them at the very end. But at this point in time, I would love to turn it over to Princess Russell-Raynor, who is our DDS co-lead for DDS engagement around our ARPA initiatives. And Princess has just a really nice way of describing what our ARPA transformation initiative is all about. And so without further ado, I will turn it over to Princess.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi there.
Good evening. Can everyone see me and hear me just fine?
We can.
Okay, great. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Princess Russell-Raynor. I'm a DDS case manager in the North region. I've been with DDS since 2004, working in day and residential settings, both private and public sector. I was also a resource manager prior to case management, working with private providers. So I have a pretty well-rounded background and understanding of how transformation works for individuals and how to support and guide stakeholders through planning and transformation process. So we heard a lot this afternoon with presentations around DDS employment and day services, and all efforts really pushing and highlighting transformation in the area of employment and day services. I'm going to discuss transformation efforts and opportunities around employment. So first, let me start by saying this initiative is directly in line with DDS mission and vision, partnering with individuals and families and providers, supporting lifelong planning, creating and promoting meaningful opportunities. We've heard about all the great opportunities folks have shared. To fully participate in communities. Now, I know stakeholders have been hearing a lot about ARPA over the last few months. There's been tons of information coming out, outreach from leadership, forums and surveys, collaboration, lots of inclusion throughout the rollout of this initiative with stakeholders just promoting a lot of the great work to push the efforts with the goal in mind to create meaningful, sustainable employment and day service opportunities for people. I myself am a co-chair, as our Deputy Commissioner mentioned, for our ARPA DDS engagement committee, along with one of our regional directors, Crush Securelli. And so case managers have been learning about ARPA right along with you all. I've been supporting families and providers and individuals on my teams understanding ARPA better. So I'm hoping this forum will give some clarity, peace of mind, and create excitement among stakeholders with regard to ARPA's efforts, transformation, and kind of what to expect. So when we think about ARPA, it's an initiative that not only talks the talk, but it walks the walk, meaning ARPA is an initiative that comes with the type of funding and support and resources and safeguards that are vital for this ambitious level of transformation and programmatic restructuring, covering the bases. So and also to build the trust in the process that's necessary for stakeholders to get behind this initiative, right? So as a case manager and stakeholder myself, I can tell you that I'm excited about the opportunities for day and employment transformation for the individuals we serve. So while transformation is not new to DDS, our collaborative team process, the ARPA funding, safeguards, and the many resources that you heard about this afternoon currently at our disposal to be innovative and creative when engaging in person-centered planning to execute meaningful transformation, these resources are new. So this is what we're getting to know. As far as the process and, person-centered planning and getting there, this is what we do. So when we talk about ARPA employment and day transformational efforts, the goal is for two purposes: for the benefit of our individuals to become more part of the community in terms of employment, and to assist providers with incentives to restructure their programs to enable individuals with more significant support needs to find employment, and or for providers to restructure programs to provide more day services opportunities for individuals still in a transformative way. So what's great about ARPA is these opportunities for transformation are intended to be inclusive. So inclusive of individuals with more medically involved needs up to those individuals who are more independent and able to work in community employment-based sites. The hope is to support and empower individuals with transformation in terms of what transformation may look like for an individual specifically, right? So all transitions are person-centered. Transformation is going to look like one thing to, one individual and another thing to another individual. But there's room for transformation for all folks at many levels. So, for instance, those who are in a home-based day program setting will have the opportunity to transition to a community setting where they'll have more variety, access to the community, exposure and experiences that open them up to possibilities where further transformation might be something to consider. So we should always be considering transformation opportunities anyways, right? So those individuals who are in congruent settings like DSOs will have the opportunity to transition to a more independent community group model like a GSC for group supported employment. Those in GSEs will be able to transition to a more independent individualized day or individual supported employment model like what we call ISE. where the focus on employment will involve opportunities for employment assessments, employable and marketable skill building and development, job exploration, job development, career planning, to move towards more community-based employment for those who are able. Self-direction is another opportunity. My colleague Patty Simbala just talked about that. We have success stories and testimonials that you just heard from individuals who are supported with entrepreneurship for small business, which the outcome was as a result of creative and collaborative planning and supports, right? Buying into the possibilities, utilizing the resources we have at our disposal, and empowering individuals to be open-minded to this. As case managers, and family and stakeholders, we want to support individuals' vision for themselves, for their lives, as much as we can. And with ARPA, we have the resources to do that, which is new and which is wonderful and exciting. So we learned about, testimonies that I know of anyways. Folks have businesses, including jewelry making, dog walking, dog grooming, doggy daycare, cleaning businesses, wood bundling, landscaping, crafts, like all types of things. So it's really exciting when you really get to hear these success stories and really understand how important it is to, as stakeholders, while we do have the fear behind us where we think, folks might be getting displaced because we're trying something new. We have to be open-minded and supportive and empowering to at least try. And we have the safeguards in place that will help us to do that. So to touch on some of ARPA provider supports that we have in place to further the efforts for transformation and employment and day services, we have some incentives for providers that we talked about. So some of the incentive include funding for employment training. So providers will have the opportunity to provide enhanced staff training in the area of employment, improving skills and their staff skills, their staff knowledge, and community networking resources and support in areas like job exploration and development and job coaching and what's involved in that and how to go about that, and really giving them that guidance and support, vocational assessments and such. There's incentives that will allow for transition incentives that will allow providers of congregate day settings to continue to be reimbursed during transition of the individual to their new placement. So this incentive will help providers to maintain staffing and financial support that's necessary for the provider while still allowing time for the individual and the team process to monitor that transition, allow time for evaluation of the placement, refinement, and any modifications that might be needed, any assistive technologies that might be helpful, and just the overall acclimation for the individual in the new placement opportunity. So should that transition not work for any reason, as a stakeholder, it's important, and exciting that we have this safeguard and built into the ARPA Day Transformational Plan, which gives us peace of mind and security that is needed to be open to possibilities and to try something new. And I think that, at least for me, talking to the individuals that I support and empower, they're really excited about those safeguards. It also includes opportunities for providers to receive other incentive payments for new placements, benchmark incentives for folks who have successfully transitioned to employment situations in the community, for providers to continue receiving payments to continue to support those transitions and bring on more transitions. As well as one-time incentives as well to help providers with funding that's needed to continue associated with, restructuring that are above and beyond rates. There's also some collaboration that's going on between provider employment specialists and BRS counselors, where they're going to be collaborating to identify individuals and potential employment referrals and networking. So that's exciting. We'll have some help from one of our other sister agencies. So that's just a little bit about some of the ARPA transformational efforts that's in place to further the effort for transformation and employment. So just to take a moment to highlight the team planning aspect of things, because I'm a case manager, so I can't go away without talking about that. And I think that that's an area that's a little bit more familiar with most of the stakeholders that are part of the multidisciplinary team. I just want to take a moment to just clarify and give peace of mind that the roles and responsibilities of the case manager and the team process is remaining the same. There's nothing new that's changing. So transformation is what we do daily. The team is, collaborates to ensure that any transitions are, is a collaborative process through person-centered planning. And the goal there is to transition folks into the least restrictive, most independent, supportive, but realistic and safe situation possible in their communities. And we're doing this through maximizing resource guides that will sustain their situation into the future. So, transformation again is tailored to the specific needs and circumstances of the individual and the provider. And the goal is just to continue to help encourage that, right? And to moving from the congregate setting to a more integrated or independent community-based setting. So with the ARPA transformational plan safeguards in place, it just gives people more peace of mind, it gives the team more peace of mind. And that's something to be excited about. Elisa, I don't know if you wanted me to discuss anything else. Did I cover what you wanted to hear about ARPA and just some good things going on with the efforts?
You absolutely did. And what a great decision to have you kind of be the closer, because you wove all of the presentations together and did a great job explaining in a very short period of time all of the possibilities that this ARPA period allows for. I don't see any questions in the chat. We have time if anybody has a question and wants to raise their hand. And while you're thinking of that, I just want to say thank you to all of today's presenters. The amount of time and coordination and preparation that goes into these forums is great and so well worth it. The range of information, and I see so many positive comments coming up in the chat. The range of information and experiences is just great. It gets us thinking of what might be possible. And that's what this is all about. We're thinking of this is a time where there are new opportunities for sure. There are resources available that haven't been available before. And this is really, truly the time to think about what may be possible, and we will continue to offer these information sessions. Next month, April, is Technology for Optimal Independence. We hope you tune in, and it's great to see everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.